Well, hello everybody, and welcome to Lunch Break Live, real talk about obesity, food addiction, recovery, and what's really eating you. Today's show is, drum roll please, Q&A. It is your input, my output. Did you notice the sign was facing the right way today? Fancy. I'm a fast learner. All right, you guys. Well, first of all, I do want to, I forgot to say who I am. I am Carrie De La Cruz, and today's show is a Q&A because you guys indicated that you like that format, and I want to thank you all for coming back today because I know yesterday was sort of not what you expected, I guess. But I am really impressed by those of you who used your option to stick around and watch the show about how eating either is or isn't an option for dealing with whatever life throws at you. So that was yesterday's show. But today's show, it's a whole new day. And so you guys were good enough to give me your questions, and I am going to do my best to answer them as concisely as possible, knowing that this is a 20-minute show, and you know me, I could talk for hours and have. So I'm going to keep it short and sweet. First question I got was from my mom, and I thought it was a really good one. And it sort of dovetails nicely with what I'm talking about from yesterday's show and is a great lead into today's show. And no, I did not even, kibitz or feed this thought to her. She came up with this all on her own. So thanks, Mom. The question is, why is tough talk important? All right, my answer is this. Okay, yesterday was tough. And it might have been unusual for you guys. You may not have been comfortable. You may not have liked it. But I'm not going to apologize because I want you to know that it was offered in firm, fair love and compassion and from a place of understanding, living it, thinking it, experiencing it, okay? And here's the thing. If you're anything like me, which I kind of think you are now, sugarcoating things is what got me in trouble in the first place. Whether it was sugarcoating food or whether it was sugarcoating the truth. And here's the thing. I lied to myself, usually with believable lies that other people often told themselves. And so it was very easy for everyone to agree with me. And we all agreed my way into big, big trouble. So tough talk, I believe, is sometimes necessary to cut through the crap. Okay? Because we hear the la, 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 and we all get lulled into this place of, false security. And every once in a while, it requires something. Bam, I got to cut through the crap because I need your attention right now. This is important. What you guys decide to do with it is up to you. If you decide to do nothing with it, that's up to you too because it is your option. So that is why I would say tough talk is so very important. And I'm going to say I endeavor to always speak with compassion and love, understanding that I'm a flawed vessel. I'm a flawed vessel just as we all are, but what flows from this flowed vessel, hopefully you guys understand, represents honesty and hope. Above all, honesty and hope. And when I decided I was going to do this show, I said I'm going to do nothing less than be honest. And so thank you guys for sticking around and listening to it. So that's question number one. Number two comes from Marcus in New Zealand, my friend Marcus. And he says, how can we keep bad thoughts away for good and keep the good ones going? It's a great question, Brian. Marcus Brian. See, I always call you Brian. I'm going to answer it with some parables first. Very familiar parables. Now, if you guys are familiar with the parable of the two wolves, you will know that it is often attributed to as a Cherokee parable or Cherokee story. But I went online because I wanted to find a very concise version of it, and I really loved this. This one actually comes from Billy Graham, of all people, from a book called The Holy Spirit Activating God's Power in Your Life. And that was written in 1978. And I'm just going to read you this parable, okay? Now, again, this is addressing how do we deal with the bad thoughts, shoo them away, and focus on the good thoughts. Ready? An Eskimo fisherman came to town every Saturday afternoon. He always brought his two dogs with him. One was white, the other was black. He had taught them to fight on command. Every Saturday afternoon in the town square, the people would gather and these dogs would fight, and the fisherman would take bets. On one Saturday, the black dog would win. On another, the white dog. The fisherman always won. Did you get that? His friends began to ask him how he did it, and he very simply said, I starve one and feed the other. The one I feed always wins. So, if we're going to look at that story and realize that we all have these two dogs fighting in our lives, the good and the bad dog, the one that wins, the thought that prevails, is going to be the one we feed and nurture and pay attention to. Therefore, if we are focusing on the negative, on the bad thought, guess which one we're going to see? We're feeding and nurturing that one, and that one's going to be stronger. If, however, we want to win with good thoughts, we need to feed and nurture the good thoughts, right? So that's the first part of it. The second part is what I wrote about in my first book about chattering monkeys. Now, I don't know if you guys are familiar with this, but in India, there are many, many temples that are overrun by very, very, very noisy monkeys. And of course, it's illegal to kill them. So there's a story about a Buddhist monk who knew, maybe this is in China if I'm talking about Buddhism. Anyway, let's just go with a monk and not decide what his religion is. So this new monk shows up, and he is constantly distracted by these chattering, noisy, annoying monkeys. But he looks around and he noticed that his other brothers, the other monks, have no problem sitting, meditating, and being in prayer. They do not seem to be bothered by these chattering monkeys. And so one day, this new monk says to another, look, you've got to tell me the secret. I don't understand. Every time I try to meditate and concentrate and pray, those darn monkeys get inside my head, and that's all I can hear is monkeys, 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 monkeys. How do I get them to shut up? The monk answered, you don't get them to shut up. You ignore them. So I think a lot of us spend a lot of time saying, how can I get the chattering monkeys in my head, the noise, the thoughts, the negativity in my head to shut up? You can't get it to shut up. It's there. But if we starve it, if we choose not to feed it, if we ignore it, it will lose strength. It won't be the dominant thought. Okay? So that's how I would answer those questions for you, Marcus. All right, the next question is from my friend Jean. This one cracks me up. I will tell you why. What is the biggest obstacle that everyone thinks prevents them from being successful? Eating doesn't count as an answer. Jean, you telling me how to answer things here? So she said eating is not an answer. Well, let's just say I don't always do what I'm told. I know, shocking, right? But that will not be the entirety of my answer. Here is how I would respond to that. What do people think is the obstacle that prevents them from being successful? Now, we determined her version of success, how she was defining it, was being able to achieve a goal weight and maintain that weight, okay? So lose weight to a certain goal and maintain it. That was how she was defining success, so that is how I'm going to address it. I believe that people think the reason they struggle is it's too hard. They get bored eating the same thing over and over and over. They don't like to exercise. Those are the three things I hear the most. That's what they believe the problem is. And here's some reality about that. Number one, it's too hard. Yep, it is pretty hard. I'm not going to deny that. I'm not going to sit here and tell you, nah, it's easy. Nope, it is hard. All right. It can be really hard to hold yourself accountable and responsible for something if you haven't had a good track record of holding yourself accountable and responsible. So in other words, if you don't have a track record of losing and maintaining weight, not being accountable for, not being responsible to yourself, then of course it's going to be hard, right? Because it's not something that you have trained for or practiced doing. All right. So the statement, it's too hard. Well, here's what I'm thinking. How many people are born just being able to do hard things? All right. I am not talking about raising one eyebrow. Okay. I can't do that. Honestly, I cannot raise one eyebrow. People are just born being able to do that. I say raising one eyebrow is very, very hard. So I just don't do it. But I have a feeling that is not an option for losing weight and keeping it off. We want to be able to do it. In order to do things that we believe are hard, we have to learn how to do them, and then we have to practice doing them. Wouldn't you guys agree? I mean, I know you hear the example all the time. You know, you can't just get off the couch and run a marathon. You have to train for it. You have to practice for it, right? We know that, but we're like, okay, a marathon is one thing, but I'm talking about losing weight and keeping it off. Okay, same principle here. We're talking about things that are hard, that we need to train for, develop muscle memory for doing, right? So when people say it's hard, I'm going to say, yep, it sure is. But we have to learn how to do hard things and actually do them. So that's number one obstacle. Number two is bored eating the same thing over and over and over. How many of you guys have said that on diets? You're like, okay, here's my problem. I just get bored eating the same healthy food over and over and over and over. I just cannot eat the same thing over and over and over. How many of you guys have said or thought that? All right, I'm going to call BS on that. Of course I am, right? I'm not going to make this easy. Why? Because when was the last time you got bored eating, oh, I don't know, hamburgers and French fries, pizza, ice cream, cookies, right? Oh, sure, you may get burned out on a particular Girl Scout cookie, but sure enough, next year, you're right back at it, aren't you? Ice cream, all right, I'm just going to try another flavor. Pizza? No, I never get tired of pizza. Hamburgers, French fries. Are you getting the point here? I think it's a lie to say that you get bored eating the same thing over and over and over. You want to eat what you want to eat, and you get bored, which is to say petulant, frustrated, right? A little bit rebellious, and say, I don't want to eat what you're telling me I have to eat. Because there's a lot of variety out there. There's a lot of healthy variety, and you know it, all right? So I'm going to say no. That's not the truth at all. That's a lie that you're telling yourself and believing. And I'm going to say, let's see here, what is my note about this? I eat the same thing every day. I just do. I found what worked for me, and I stock up on it, and I make sure I have it, and there's very little variety or diversity on an average day. On a day where something is different, I also know what my options, my healthy options look like. I know where to kind of go to stick close to what I know is healthy and works for me. A lot of people would say it is very boring to eat cottage cheese with salsa and pumpkin seeds and Kalamata olives absolutely every day. A lot of people would say it is very, very boring to eat half a Trader Joe's quiche every single day. A lot of people would say, are you following me? It's boring to eat salad every single night. Nope. I'm happy because I don't spend a lot of time thinking about it, putting energy into it, and then dreaming about eating it. Steve Jobs from Apple called it decision fatigue. That is why he wore the same thing absolutely every day. A dark turtleneck and a pair of jeans. Dark turtleneck, pair of jeans for years and years. Why? He said, I want to eliminate that need to make a decision about what I'm going to eat so that I would have that mental strength to focus on what I really need to focus on. So I'm eliminating decision fatigue and also fantasizing and romanticizing by predetermining what I'm going to eat. It's there, it's done, it's not a decision I have to make. So the idea that you're bored, nonsense, and you know it, all right? And you can decide what works for you and stick to that and still have plenty of diversity in your life if you so desire. All right, I just happen to, I'm going to say it, be kind of lazy. I don't want to cook every day. All right, exercise. I don't like to exercise. Okay, fair enough, neither do I. But you have to do it. You just have to. Why? Not to lose weight, but because your body needs it. Your muscles need it, your system needs it, your heart needs it, and guess what? Your brain needs it. So we just have to do it whether we like it or not. And people say that's an obstacle. Oh, well, why don't we turn it into a climbing wall and climb over it? All right, that's just not an option. We talked about yesterday, it's not an option not to exercise. So by making it an obstacle, well, you're kind of shooting yourself in the foot there, aren't you? That's what people say, but I'm just going to say you're going to have to get over that obstacle. All right, so that is the answer to Jean's question. I didn't really focus on food, see? All right, as to why people think they can't succeed. How are we doing on time? We're doing okay. I'm cranking right along, right? I know, you guys probably have questions in here. I'll hurry. All right. Diana Rhodes said, do you find it common or not so unusual that those of us with addictive type personalities also can become addicted to information on weight loss? I'm doing better about actually doing something with the info, but for the longest time, I just took it all in. So in other words, do I find it common for people to focus on food, especially if they're addicted to it? Yes. Oh, you want more answer? Okay, well, I could do a whole show on this, so I'm just going to keep it really simple, and I wrote it out because Lord knows I don't want to waste time. The long answer is that I should do an entire episode on this, but let's think about sex addicts. Sex addicts, right? What do? They buy porn magazines for the articles, and they watch movies for the storyline, and they watch other people doing it. Okay, those are sex addicts, right? Well, guess what people who are food addicts do? I think you know where I'm going with this one, right? Ever watch the Food Network? The cooking channel, right? How many different channels are there devoted entirely to food? We watch people preparing the food and go, I just like to watch them make the food because I know I can do that too. Or how many people have a Pinterest board with all of your very favorite desserts? How many people collect recipes all day, every day, dreaming of and thinking of all of the things you are going to cook and eat, right? Taking pictures of what you eat and posting it on your page, grabbing pictures of what other people eat and putting it on your page. Do you see what I'm saying? You watching other people do it? You think that's safer that way? I think when you focus on the thing that you're addicted to, whether you're actually consuming it with your mouth or you're consuming it with your mind, it's still a problem. So you asked me, do I find it common? Yep. And guess what the cure for that is? Don't do it. Change the channel. Stop watching them cook. You know, otherwise you're going to have to turn down the lights, put on something comfortable, and put on some music in the background. And Lord knows we do not need to do that. All right? That's the answer to that. My friend Cynthia Tripp Andrews said, as an addict, like in my case, 1 drink is too many and 1,000 drinks is not enough. Anything I like, I overdo. Is there a way to not overeat the good stuff? My answer is yes. Okay? If it's something you tend to overdo, which is not stop once you start it, don't start it. I know that sounds ridiculous, but when was the last time you overdid kale? Anyone? Anyone? How about broccoli? Anybody eat themselves into a coma on broccoli and find that it had negative long-term effects because they were doing it every single day and couldn't stop? Not really. You know, I haven't run into a kale or broccoli addict so far. I'm betting that the things you're talking about overdoing are the things that are very similar to the things that you're not supposed to do anymore. Like, hey, a cookie is a cookie is a cookie, all right? I don't care if it has protein in it and they're calling it a protein cookie, or if it's a 100-calorie cookie, or it's a sugar-free or a gluten-free or a fat-free cookie, it's a cookie. And you know what? Even if it tastes like cardboard, I'm going to overdo it. I'm going to plow through the entire box. Therefore, I stay away from all forms of cookies, even if the box is blue or green and they're trying to convince me that it's good for my health, it's good sense, and I'll be happy if I eat it. Because I know I won't stop, all right? So look at what it is that you're calling good stuff and determine, is it really good stuff? Really? You know what they say, if it came from the center of the store and if it's processed, it's really just stuff masquerading. It's being a substitute for the stuff that you already know you have a problem with. And again, I'm addressing food addicts here. Those of us who don't stop once we start. You know, we can overdo anything. I will eat raw, old-fashioned, slow-cook oats. I don't even have to cook them and I'll overdo them. Why? Hey, if it's good enough for horses, I'll do it. Okay, so there's no accounting for taste. This doesn't make sense. There's no rhyme or reason. That is my answer. The thing is, look, I don't care if it says protein. I don't care if it says healthy. If it's a problem, it's a problem. Don't start it. Put it on your list and say, you're not an option for me. And then learn to respect the limitations that you have in your life. They are unique to you. You don't have to explain them to anyone. If you have a problem and it's a problem, respect the problem and don't make it a bigger problem. So those are the answers for the questions that you wrote on the board. And I'm going to look and see if you guys put any questions down below. Wow, you guys are busy talking. Is it okay if I go long? Do you guys mind if I go a little long today? All right. Stephanie, front and center. And Cynthia, you're back. I'm so glad, honey. I hope you're feeling okay. You just hang in there. You'll get through it. And my brother-in-law is out there somewhere. Hey, Mama, you made it. But boy, a lot of people got their seats in front of you in the front row. And Cleo, oh, honey, be safe. Be safe over there in Florida. I am praying for all of you guys. Oh, my gosh, take cover. Take care of yourself. I got chills thinking about it. Be safe. Oh, God. And Carrie, I'm glad that you are here. And Diana and Janine all the way from New Zealand. Janine, this is my New Zealand necklace. These are my New Zealand earrings. These I picked up when I was down there. My wonderful friend Sine bought them for me, and I love them. So I'm all New Zealand blinged out today. Kiwi bling. All right. You can see video won't let you watch it. I don't know what that means. We'll talk about that later. Okay. Fixed screen, no play button. Oh, dear. Yep, you can watch the replay. I'm sorry, but come back because I'm talking to you. All right. It's a New Zealand thing and a heart. Hey, Jared, congratulations on that new baby boy. Oh, my God, he's adorable. And the picture of your mom and dad with their, like, phones in front of their faces crack me up. It's like, that's what the baby thinks Grandma and Grandpa look like. Love it. So cute. And Flossie, hi. Oh, all right, let's see. Can't get to... Yeah, the tropical storm. So it sounds like Janine and you having the same problem, same island. And Marcus Bryan. Okay, I hope I answered your question in a way that makes sense to you, that you like the answer. And Eric, congratulations, man. 34 pounds. Bam. That's how it's done. 1 pound at a time. I hope you're getting really great, encouraging news from your doctor because... Yay! That's what I do because I want to encourage you guys to do what you do, which is take care of your health. I love it. So not a diet, it's a lifestyle change. It's also a thinking change, isn't it? Isn't that what we talk about? All right. And Casey, yay, you're back. Okay. If you have to eat chicken one more day, you're going to go postal. You got to get creative with this crap. Well, stop calling it crap. We'll start there because there's only so many ways you can make crap taste good. It really does require a mental shift that says, look, I'm going to take care of myself in a healthy way, and there are many, ways in which I can do this. But you know what? I'm not going to focus on that food. I'm going to look at it as fuel. I'm going to look at it as I'm deriving healthy energy from this, and I know I'm taking care of myself. A lot of times I think we look to our food for our emotional needs, to make us feel good, to make us feel happy when we don't, to make us feel calm when we aren't calm. And we're looking at that damn chicken and going, look, chicken, I'm having a really bad day today, and I'm just needing you not to be tough because Carrie was tough with me today, and I really do not need tough chicken, staring back at me from the plate. I get it. Maybe we're putting too much energy, too much responsibility in our food to take care of us, right? When we need to be addressing our own stuff and not expecting the food to do it for us. I know that's deep for tough chicken, but still. And that's not at you. I mean, that's me. I raised my hand on that one too, but trust me, I do cottage cheese. I mean, maybe you shouldn't talk to me about it. All right. Wrapping it up here. Decision fatigue. Yeah, I'm going to do a show on it, probably. I keep saying I will, but I keep putting it off. All right. And what scale do you believe, since every doctor's appointment seems different? Well, I don't believe in any scale because I think we know how we feel, and doctors have goals for us, but I think ultimately our goal for ourselves is to have a healthy, manageable weight where our body is working and we're not on meds, and we don't have high blood pressure or high cholesterol. Our clothes fit, we feel comfortable in our body, and we're able to do things and not experience physical limitations due to our weight. The scale is crazy making, and we get plugged into, well, his scale said that and my scale said this, and when I'm naked, but I have to poop first. And then at the end of the day, I know I always went. That's crazy making. How in any way does that really, really determine your health in the big picture, the grand scheme of things? And what I mean by that is even the matter of a couple of pounds, because we fluctuate a couple of pounds in a single day. So I would say, don't rely on the scale, rely on the doctor to give you feedback about your physiological health, okay? But also rely upon yourself, how you feel, the work that you're doing and recognize that obesity is not just a physiological disease. It has that emotional, mental, and spiritual component as well. So I would encourage you, I don't know, is there a scale for spiritual health? Deep. Okay. Thanks, Diana. I really appreciate that. And stop looking at cooking shows. That's right, ma'am. Bam. Block the channels. All right. Asparagus all day long. Hey, you might get gassy, but I mean, it tastes good, doesn't it? Onions, you love onions? Well, how many of those can you eat in a day, really? Because they don't have a lot of protein. So let's limit those things and put them with the chicken. Let's have chicken and onions. I'm just thinking on the fly here. I'm not very creative in the kitchen. All right, you guys. You guys are talking about meat and da-da-da-da-da-da. Dang, I hate it when I'm right. Me too. I hate it when I'm right, especially when I've been lying to myself all along and all of a sudden I'm like, damn it, I'm on to me. Well, no, I can't believe that lie anymore. All right, you guys, thanks for hanging around. This was a really long show, but I hope that my output lived up to your input. Really, really happy that we can have this back and forth. I'm really encouraged by it. I am encouraged by your courage. I love hearing the reports of improved health, feeling better with your body, feeling better in your skin, knowing now, being able to see the issues and realizing that, you were trying to look through the jello, to see what the problem was. And you realize, okay, I got to put the jello down. I got to put the opaque chicken down, stop looking at the chicken to figure out how I am, stuff like that you guys are beginning to see that obesity is about so much more than food. Thank you guys for giving me your questions. Boy, today was a super fun day, and we'll make sure we do this at least once a week, okay? No telling what I'm going to talk about tomorrow. If you enjoyed this, please share it with anyone you think would benefit. And you know what? Share it with your doctor. Why not? If you've got a doctor, and there's a particularly good show here, and you're like, oh man, I think, you know what? Maybe my doctor isn't aware that that might be what I'm thinking. Why not share it, all right? The more people we can help by sharing and paying it forward, the healthier our community will be. And isn't that what this is all about? All right, you guys, I am going to sign off and remind you all to have courage, seek peace, embrace joy, and above all, live your recovery. By the way, I'm going to do a future show on what exactly is this recovery I keep talking about. All right, you guys, remember, you can't stop feeding what's eating you if you don't know what's eating you. I will see you all tomorrow. Take care of you. Bye. Oh, be safe over there in Florida, you guys. Hunker down and take cover. All right. Bye-bye.